What's good, everyone? I hope everything is good. I am here, and basically what we're going to talk about is how to figure out a song, or how to figure out the key of a song. That's basically what I want to talk about. And I was about to record it and, edit it and do all that other stuff. But I was like, you know what? I haven't gone live in a little bit. So let's go ahead and start. By the end of this video, you should have a better idea of how to figure out the key of a song if you don't already know how to do that. Okay. If you're like a beginner, maybe like beginner / intermediate, this may be something that you maybe struggle with a little bit. Okay. And believe it or not, there are some intermediate to advanced players as well that, and some will probably say, well, if they don't know how to figure that out, then maybe they're not, maybe they aren't advanced or intermediate or whatever. So, but yeah, it's interesting how there are some who can read music, but they can't figure it out by ear. Okay. So I'm just going to give a couple of little strategies that may help you, that may actually help you to figure it out. Now, some of this requires, being able to use your ears a little bit, being able to use your internal understanding of what you know that a major scale is. That's actually going to be a really good reference. So to start off, I want to talk about something, and this is the first thing. So this is basically 6 ways. I probably should have entitled this 6 ways to figure out how to find a song key, or maybe how I find a song key. So using solfege, those of you who don't know what solfege is, it is, these are assigned syllables to each note of the major scale. In other words, we know of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We know what that is. And if we were to sing it to ourselves, it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. If I were to play it on guitar, and that didn't sound nothing like the do, re, mi I just did, but do, mi, 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 mi. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So if we were to do that in our heads, and we qualify in our heads that each syllable has a number, each syllable has a note, and they all have intervals in relationship to one another. So, and I've shown this to y'all before, but it is whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So it's the W, W, H, W, 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 H. 2 W's H, 3 W's then H. I'm just trying to show y'all different ways that you can actually memorize it. So I'm going to just bring this up real quick, and I hope I got everything out of the way, because I know some of my previous videos actually don't show it clearly because my little thumbnail thing is in the way. So I'm going to make sure that is out of the way like this. Okay, so I'm going to make it as simple as I possibly can. And the more I teach, the more I know how to teach it better. Okay, so here is the major scale. Now that is on 1 string. It is very important, and this is basically the do, re, mi thing that I was just saying. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do is 1, re is 2, mi is 3, so on and so forth. So I just want y'all to keep that part in mind. So that is a major scale. That is a major scale on the A string. Okay, the open A string, which is right here. That's where I played. It's a C major scale, and you can see the intervals, and I actually have it right here. This W, W, H, W, 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 H. Those are the intervals. Okay. And I apologize. My voice is a little better now, but So basically, what we see on the guitar is something that we do with our voice, but we don't realize that we're doing it. When we're singing along with songs, we're doing it not knowing, okay? Because music is such a powerful tool. Whether you can sing or not, you can make out intervals on a song, and you can make out certain things, okay? So anyhow, this C is the initial note. It is the reference note. This is the key of C. And in the key of C, there's a certain family of notes that belong to that key. If you reference this C, and you use the whole and half step intervals coming from this C, you have located and identified the key of C, or the notes that belong to the key of C. Okay. And that's it. Don't overthink it. Okay. I'm going to play it one more time, and then we'll move on from there. Mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. All right. And now I've shown on other videos, and I plan on going a lot deeper into this in the club or the community. So a lot of what I'm showing now is actually the style that I would show it, on the inside, even though I have a lot of videos like this, but it was just to give you a taste of how I like to teach. Anyhow, so that C is the reference point, but keep in mind that this scale can be played, and this is also just a reminder, this is like beginner to intermediate, like beginner intermediate type level. If you're advanced, let this be a review. But this scale can be played on multiple strings. It doesn't have to be played on one string, but I just want to give you a visual. Okay. And I'll show you some of that a little bit later, like toward the end of the video, as like an extra nugget. So that's where we are so far. Now, as far as like, that's like the first thing, the first step I would say, to knowing how to play by ear. Like, reference what you already know. Reference, if you know how to play that, or if you know how to sort of by memory play in your head that scale, you're almost good to go. Okay, so keep that part in mind. And let me give you this too. Let me just show it to you. This is like another little reference too. Okay. So whole step, half step, whole step, half step. And here are the numbers assigned to those different, things. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Ti is the 7. And back to do, the do is the 1. All right. So these are like basics. I don't care how advanced you are. Always go back to the basics. Okay. I revisit that almost on a daily basis, or every time I practice. All right. Just to, glance at it. All right. Now, the second thing, I got my notes right here, is going to seem elementary, but know how to play a note on the guitar. Like, know how to find a note and like have the corresponding way that you're plucking it with your right hand. Sorry. Okay. Like, be able to put together in your mind that you're playing a note with your left hand, or with your fretting hand, and with the other hand you're actually like plucking a note to make the note sound out. Okay. So just like keep that in mind. So that's like a very small nugget. I'm still calling it number 2, but whatever. All right. The next thing is really like the first thing that I said. Like, if you know how to play a note, then the next step is being able to play that major scale is really important. Like, actually being able to play it, reference it, and not like struggling with it. You know what I'm saying? And you can play a major scale from any point on the guitar. Okay. So this is actually step number 3, even though I kind of started out that way. Major scale on one string. I just showed the illustration. chords on multiple strings. Okay, know how to do that, because you could actually use certain parts of the song to help you to like identify the root notes. And I'm actually going to use that on the next part. So number 4 is, it would really help if you know how to play every single chord within a major key. Okay. So you should, I'm just saying it would be helpful. I'm saying you should, and it would be helpful. It's like, which one, Kashif? But it would help if you can do this. Now that's coming from the A string. It don't have to be that way. It can be that way. It can be that way too. You can play it from multiple strings, regardless of how you play it. Play it from multiple places. Play it from one string. However, whatever. Be able to play all the chords. Okay, that's pretty much what that comes down to. That's number 4. The next one is I'm looking at what I wrote. Identify the note or chord progression. Yeah. Identify the progression that the song is actually doing. Now, a lot of times, for me, before I notice the chord, I notice what the bass is doing. Okay? I notice what the bass note is actually like doing. I'm noticing the movement, and I'm following it. And sometimes, if there's not a bass player or a bass instrument on the song or on that part, I can sort of make it out. So if it goes like this, let me do this. I know it's kind of like do do do. You know what I'm saying? So being able to distinguish that, whatever the song is doing, just listen for it. And you have to practice listening for it. You really do. All right. So I'm going to sort of not take a break, but I'm going to go back to the illustration so that we can go to the next part. And I'm really repeating what I've already said, but I just want you to get a visual of how to do what I'm explaining. So here's the part where I mentioned the chords, like being able to actually play the chords. So let's just see how that looks. Again, that is from the A string, where all the root notes is actually on the A string. All right. So just keep that part in mind. All the root notes are on the A string, and based on what I'm showing, you can actually see this is the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7. You know what I'm saying? Back to the 1. You know, this is do, re, mi. You know what I'm saying? All that. So that's that. So being able to know that is going to help you. Now, after that, it will be also helpful to know how to, and not only do that, but move around, move about each chord. So all that, just kind of be able to move about. All right. And that'll help you to be able to like locate it with the instrument, because you want to sort of use your ear and your instrument sort of at the same time, and be able to feel like I got to tune up a little bit. But yeah, kind of use them in tandem. But I would say to practice listening, because it is very possible to figure out at least a bass note progression by ear. Even if you don't know the actual key, you hear the intervals. Okay, you can hear like what it's doing, and you can kind of get an idea of what the root is, even if they're not playing the root. All right. So an example, a quick example is this. If I'm playing the 2, 6, 5, boom, 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 and that's what it's doing. And remember, I'm referencing the bass note. And you might hear nothing but this. Or you might hear something like, something like that, right? But that bass note, it should be doing something like this. All right, so it may be doing something like that. But if it's like a guitar only song, you may not have that deepness, okay? So yes, be able to play each chord. It would just be helpful, all right? I'm not even sure if I've been numbering these wrong, but that should have been number 5. And yeah, number 6 is pretty much using your knowledge, okay, of, I guess I've kind of been threading them all in between, but you use your knowledge, okay? Like some of this you kind of already know. I'm just kind of giving them names, okay? The solfege thing, we're just giving it a name. Intervals, we're giving them names. The numbers, we're giving them names, you know? So it's stuff that we hear all the time. So let's not overthink it. Now, let me go to like example number 1. We can call it example number 1 as far as on this chart, okay? And I didn't really figure out what chord progression it is. Let me see what it is. This is, okay. All right, so based on this, right, I'm gonna count it, and these are quarter notes, and down below we got half notes. All right, so the quarter notes go a little faster. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go, right? So if we're here, here's the 1, here's the 2, all right? Now that is similar to, let me show you real quick. This is actually similar to, so here's the 1, here's the 2. So 1, 2, all right? So keep that in mind. The notes that are here on the scale have chords that actually belong to the note, to the root note. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, which is the same as 1, 2, 3, which is the same as 1, 2, 3. Okay, keep that in mind. Just don't overthink it. Please don't overthink it. All right, so going back to the illustration. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's stop there. So if I go back here, we still know that's the 2. We still know that's the 3. All right. So if I do this here, 2, here, 3. So that's a 2, 3, 4 chord progression. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. That's it. So going back to this, not going back to it, but going to it. So this chord progression based on the key of C, C major. Here's the chord progression. All right, again. So for those of you who are watching, last time I checked, it was no viewers, but maybe somebody showed up. Okay, I got one. I think I had a few at one point showing up. But if anyone could guess what that chord progression is based on what I described, And if any of you guessed, or not even guessed, but determined that that this is a 3, 3, 2, 1, 5. Okay, and that's just because of where the notes fall. Okay, on the actual neck. At least the 3, 2, 1 part. That's at least should have figured that part out. But anyway, so should at least figure that much out. Okay, again, run that back. All right, so that's the 5. All right. So if you hear that chord progression over and over, if you just hear it playing over and over, you naturally would think, okay, it would resolve here. Like that's the main note. So I'm just saying internally, like we kind of want to go back to that C. So, all right. So that's one way that we can determine how to find a song key. So if that song is going back and forth, and it's just over and over. Maybe it's an acoustic guitar. And you're like, what key is that in? Well, if you're able to find those notes, if you're able to find some of the notes by ear, and find it on guitar, and then you figure, okay, well, yeah, these notes actually match up. Okay. You're like kind of fiddling and you figure out some of the chords. Oh yeah, that's that right there. Okay. So practically, if you see just using the bass note, you could at least see that these notes belong to the key of C if you know the C major scale. You got to know the scale first to know where the notes fall, okay? Because if this is the C, go back to the illustration. If if that is a C, and this is the 2 of that, which is a D, then you go to E, then you go to what's that, F, and when you know those are the intervals, and it's matching with what you're hearing, then you can pretty much determine, oh, this is the key of C. Oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? This does require practice. Okay. It requires hearing it too. So you should at least be able to determine what the one of a song is, even if you don't know that it's in the key of C. So if a chord progression does something like, maybe I'll go to the next one. Yeah. Okay. Maybe something like that. So 2, this is the 2. There's the 4. Here's the 6. There's the 1. Even if the actual C major wasn't being played, you could still determine, okay, these notes fall within that C major key and register. Okay. Now, some advanced people who may run across this video would be like, well, technically that's A minor. I'm speaking to beginners and intermediate learners. We got to have a reference point. Okay. I'm not really into guitar theory conversations. I'm not into music theory conversations because sometimes we get too technical and we forget how to feel stuff. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, clearly the C major is in that chord progression. So we can, determine that, okay, yeah, that might be like in the C major key. Let's try the next one. That's the 4. That's the 6, the 2, that's the 3. So that particular chord progression does not play a C major, but you could still technically say that's in the key of C major because the notes are inside that key. Now again, somebody would probably say, well, that's actually A minor. The thing is, A minor is the 6th chord of the C major key. So no one is wrong in that situation. But for some people, they hear it differently. Now, clearly, if the song is strumming on that A minor, and it's just strumming on that, and it's just, pretty much, and it's going from that from the A to the D minor, yeah, that's definitely in the key of A minor, because it ain't going nowhere else, but the notes still belong to the key of C major as well. Okay. So, and there are notes, there are chords that, there are chords with multiple names, and, someone could say, well, this is how you play a power chord. Maybe I should grunge it up a little bit. But then someone could say, well, no, that's a C5. They're the same thing. We're not going to argue about whether it's a C5 or a power chord. It's a 1 and a 5. A 1 and a 5. When you play them together, that's how they sound. Now, some people may politely interject and say, okay, well, yeah, that's a minor flat 5 chord. And then somebody might say, well, no, actually it's a diminished. Or someone may politely interject and say, well, no, actually that is a half diminished or minor flat 5 also. It's just another way to interject, you know what I'm saying? But both people are right. So there's no point in debating about it. Now, I think those are all my points as far as that. Now, for this nugget, I want to inject this nugget real quick, and I want to talk about this real quick, and I'll talk further about it in a later video. But I don't know that we kind of grasp this particular concept, even though I talk about it a lot. Now, some people find my channel entertaining. There's nothing wrong with that. But I really am wanting to teach these concepts. And one of the reasons I like to teach it is because I run into a lot of people who have issues with being creative. And so I'm doing my part in making my effort to inspire creativity. I actually take that pretty seriously. It bugs me and it bothers me when people say that they're not creative, and they're clearly not tapping into what is already there. Now, going back to the first part that I was showing you, I showed you the major scale, the C major scale on one string. Now that is no different than this. It's just on different strings. Same intervals, they're just on different strings. Now, when you play that scale, keep this in mind. Please keep this in mind, and don't overcomplicate this concept, if you want to call it that. Here are the notes. Once you know these notes and you know how to do the scale on one string, and you know how to do it on multiple strings, well, here's the C, here's the D. So if you start from the 2, So this just like you started from the C. Now start from the 2. Well, that starts the D minor scale, basically, okay? Or the scale coming from the 2 position, which is, so the first one is, second one is. Now, some people don't believe this, but both scales are the same notes. They're just in a different order. Okay, so I find that to be actually pretty cool. So I'm going to play it in the same position. So I'm actually playing it just starting with the 2. The other one I was starting with the 1, but now I'm going to play it in a different position than this one. I'm going to play it here. Okay, so, or you can, I just started, instead of going here, I went here. Okay, so all the notes are the same. You're just starting with a different note. Now, these are really important when you're wanting to figure out a song, and you figure out the notes, figure out what that bass note is playing. Figure that out first. Figure out what the bass note is playing, and just play it over and over. All right. And that's if there's a bass guitar in it. All right. I got my bass hanging up right here, but I don't want to. I should have had it. I should have already had it plugged up, basically. But once you do that, then you kind of build from there. So if a bass player is doing this, that's what's happening. Now those 3 notes could belong to a bunch of other keys, to be quite honest with you. But if the notes are these, now we're kind of narrowing it down a little more. So on and so forth. So this is just to help inform you where everything is. Now, let me show you one more chart, and it's reinforcing what I just said pretty much. And I have it here, to be quite honest. So sort of a cheat sheet. The first intervals I've already told you is 2 W's, 1 H, 3 W's, 1 H. So whole step, half step, whole step, half step. When you say that over and over, it gets real old. But if you take that W and put it on the back, this is how it looks right here. It looks just like that. So now you just have 1 W, then the half step, 3 W's, half step, and you got that W right there at the end. That's actually that minor scale, or the scale coming from the 2. Okay, so those are the intervals to that. And really, the 3, well, you take this W, okay, you put that on the back, and that H is in the front. That's going to be the 3. I'm not going to show that as far as on a chart, but if I were to demonstrate it like I've been doing so far. So here's the 1, the 2, here's the 3 with the H in the front. And I actually, let me see. That's not what I want to show. Let me come here. I thought I prepared my stuff a little more. No. All right, let's use that. I'm gonna do some editing in front of y'all. I don't know if you see all my little stuff, but Let me come here. H, actually, yeah, W, H. So that's the 2. I'll actually, if you don't see it, I'll make it pop on the screen again. And let's do this. 3. It's going to be the H. Then W, 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 H, W, W. So yeah, let me resize this. All right. So this is how, like, I don't know if y'all saw that little other screen pop up. But yeah, so this is how the 3 looks. And I'll let you all figure out how to do all the other ones, or I'll just put it on another video. So the first one, that's what I just played. Here's the 2. Here's the 3. So that H means from that initial note, you're just going a half step. And from that second note there, you're going a whole step. And so on and so forth. But if you don't know how to do it on multiple strings, you can always do it on one string. So half step, whole step, whole step. Okay. Just following that little chart right there. Okay. I'll see you on the next one. Join the club. Join the club. All right. Peace.